Hey guys, it's Dylan Laine, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to choose chords for your original songs. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so. I post ukulele tutorial videos, songwriting tutorial videos, original songs, and cover songs. Before we get started, I've made you a cheat sheet to go along with this video. You can print it out and have all of the information right in front of you. I'll post a link to that in the description box down below. If you're writing a song and you plan on playing an instrument while you sing the song, you'll need to understand chord progressions, and you'll also need to know how to write them. If you don't know what a chord progression is, it's the order of chords in a song. Sometimes there's a separate chord progression for the verse than there is for the chorus and than there is for the bridge. But other times there's the same chord progression throughout the entire song. There are 12 major chords, 12 minor chords, and a large variety of sus, augmented, diminished, and seventh chords to choose from. Eventually, you'll be grateful for all of the chord options you have to choose from, but for now, let's take a look at the chords that are most commonly used in popular music today. Now, if you want a really quick and simple method to writing chord progressions, take a look at all of the songs that you most love and want your songs to sound like. Look at the chords that they're using, but maybe rearrange them a little bit. That way, it's not an exact copy of the songs you like, but it will use the same chords, which will make it have a similar sound. But if you don't want the easy, quick way and you want to really dig deep and understand chord progressions and why certain chords work together and how to choose chords that work really well together with your song, then stick around for the rest of the video. I'm gonna break it down. In music, there are rules of what chords go well together. Of course, these rules can definitely be broken, and when they are broken, and they often are, it can make for some really cool, interesting, and unique sounds. But the majority of popular music today does follow these rules. At some point in your songwriting journey, you might have an interest in breaking these rules as well. But for the time being, when you're just getting started, I recommend sticking with the rules until you're comfortable with them before throwing them out the window. The rules of what chords sound well together is typically determined by something called the circle of fifths. Understanding the circle of fifths will give you a much more insight as to how to know which chords sound well together. The circle of fifths is a chart that organizes the keys in a way that we can see how they relate to one another. What is a key? Let me explain. Have you ever heard someone say, "This song is in the key of C"? Well, whenever someone says, "This song is in the key of C or D or E," they're basically informing their band what chords are going to be played in that song. If the song is in the key of C, then that means that there's a nice collection of chords and notes that will sound really good in that key. If the song is in the key of F, then there's a whole new set of chords and notes that will sound really good in that key. The same goes for the key of G, A, B, C, D, all of them. So the circle of fifths organizes all of the keys in a way that will show you how many sharps are in each key, how many flats are in each key, and which chords and notes will go nicely together in those keys. So again, the circle of fifths organizes all of the keys in a way that shows us which chords fit nicely together, and it also shows you how many sharps are in each key and how many flats are in each key. As you can see, this is what the circle of fifths looks like. The outer layer displays all of the notes that are in Western music, and they are all a perfect fifth apart. Let's confirm that using the musical alphabet. If you're unfamiliar with the musical alphabet, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts back over at A. So starting at the top of the circle of fifths, we have a C, and if you go up a perfect fifth, you have G. Again, up to D, up to A, and so forth. For every note on the outer layer, there's a note underneath which is called its relative minor. For example, C has a relative minor, which is A minor. G has a relative minor, which is E minor. Every relative minor is going to use the same notes as the relative major. For example, in the key of C, we have no sharps and no flats. This means in the key of its relative minor, which is A minor, there will also be no sharps and no flats. The final part of the circle of fifths is the part that shows you the key signature for each key. What's a key signature? A key signature shows you which notes are going to be sharp and which notes are going to be flat. And the point of the key signature is to tell you what key your song is in. So starting at the top of the circle of fifths again, C has 0 sharps and 0 flats. Then moving on to G, there is 1 sharp note, which is F sharp. D has 2 sharp notes, F sharp, and C sharp, and this continues all the way down to the key of C sharp. So you're probably wondering, how does all of this apply to choosing chords for a song? Well, first you need to choose which key you want your song to be in. For my example, I'm going to choose the key of C. Next, I'm going to take a look at my circle of fifths, and I'm going to look directly to the left and to the right of the key that I just chose. To the left of C, we have F, and to the right of C, we have G. Next, I'm going to find the relative minors of C, F, and G. The relative minor of C is A minor, the relative minor of F is D minor, and the relative minor of G is E minor. All 6 of these chords are going to sound great together. We have C, F, G, A minor, D minor, and E minor. C, those all sounded pretty good together, right? So just to clarify my method, I chose the key that I wanted my song to be in, which was C. I chose the notes to the left and to the right of C, and then I chose the relative minors of all 3 of those notes. For one more example, let's take the key of D. Looking at the circle of fifths, to the left of D is G, and to the right of D is A. The relative minors of all 3 of those notes are E minor, F sharp minor, and B minor. You can apply this method to any key that you choose. I have to tell you that I was pretty excited when I learned this method. It just took all the guesswork out of choosing chords for my chord progressions. I hope this video made you feel inspired, excited, and motivated to go write your own chord progressions. Again, I'll post a link in the description box down below that will give you a printable cheat sheet with all of the information from today's video. Until next time, goodbye!